Hello everyone, my name is Galuh Anggita. So here I would like to give a verbal adjudication of the NUDC Open Grand Final 2020. So for the debate assessment, here are the rankings and scores of the adjudicator corps provided. So I gave the first ranking to the closing government, the second rank to the closing opposition, the third rank to the opening opposition, and the fourth to the opening government. So now let's move on to the debate assessment about rankings explanation. So closing government got the highest point because of several reasons. Compared to closing opposition, closing government able to debunk many issues, able to analyze specifically about the concept and relationship between urban and rural, able to prove and explain that economic activities are almost tilted to the fact that people have no purchasing power, able to notice that poverty rates are increasing at the same time in the urban and rural area. They also able to explain why urbanization has been one of the biggest problems, including when the pandemic happening. They able to prove which one is more approachable and be a more realistic approach for having Indonesian revitalized from COVID. And next, compared to opening opposition, closing government able to respond about who are prioritizing in digitalization. They also able to debunk and prove that digitalization and corporation will not work in this case. And the last, compared to opening government, closing government, most of their material was highly derivative of closing government case. Closing government case also had better responses than opening government with their specific evidence. So now let's move on to the second rank, closing opposition. So compared to opening opposition, most of opening opposition's material was highly derivative of closing opposition case, especially the transmission rates of COVID to more urban people. Closing opposition also gave further information by adding another perspective. Then, compared to opening government, closing opposition had better responses than opening government with specific evidence. They also able to force and push the biases of rural people. They able to explain specifically about the urban people as the most vulnerable actors. Also explain the transmission rates of COVID to more urban people. They also able to compare demographic composition that affected by COVID. And last, they are able to prove that urban people have some degree of self-sufficiency and they were also more capitalist. Now let's move on to the third and fourth rank. So compared to opening government, opening opposition claimed that grounded reality from the opening government has failed. Opening opposition explained more about the consideration, the millions of investment under the crisis. They are able to debunk opening government analysis about the context of Indonesian post-COVID economy on how that we are currently in the good reality. They are able to explain what happens in the context of Indonesian economy, especially about the economic gap between the rural and urban area. They are able to contextualize what kind of condition that we are facing in the post-COVID. They are able to explain how to protect people in rural area better than also about the pandemic transmission. They are able to mention evidence about the impact of COVID, for instance, about the loss of profit around 200 million per month in Jakarta. They are able to mention and explain a lot of things like supply. Also, opening opposition was strengthening the reason by using facts, opinions, and objects to generate proofs. So that's all about my verbal adjudication about the debate assessment and also the ranking explanations. Thank you for watching and see you.